ever desire to live in the province of Manitoba? Are you considering a pathway that would work with the highest score that you have, despite it being low? Do not give up yet. The province of Manitoba needs you today. Yes, you heard me right. The Winkler Stanley Economic Development Pathway, Immigration Pathway, has opened up its application and they are in need of you. So I will be showing you how to apply for this WSEDC immigration pathway in the province of Manitoba. So come right with me and let me show you the process. Let us apply together for this immigration pathway before it closes. So in fact, they just recently opened this application pathway. So utilize this opportunity and apply. So come with me. Let us apply together for this immigration pathway.
Hey guys, good morning. So I've brought about a very great update for people who are interested in migrating to the province of Manitoba. Okay, so this immigration pathway is called the Winkler Stanley Economic Development, and then they closed it for a while due to the number of applications they've received. But good news, guys, it has been opened again. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to be looking at is to look at the immigration process and what the Winkler Stanley Economic Development is about. So the city of Winkler and the harem of Stanley is an industry and service hub for southern Manitoba with a regional population of over 30,000 people. The region provides a great combination of work opportunities and quality of life. So let's just go straight in. So what is this Pilots Manitoba Immigration Initiative all about? So the WSEDC, in partnership with Immigration Pathways, has agreed to a pilot immigration initiative to address the urgent short and long-term labor needs demonstrated by employers in the Winkler Stanley region. So these employers have demonstrated that they are in need of labor. So this program in 2024 and 2025 can take up to 150 applications per year. Candidates who are endorsed by the Winkler Stanley Economic Development are not required to conduct an in-person exploratory visit. So what they want you to basically do is just to promise that you're going to stay in this province. So definitely, I believe you want to stay in this province. Okay, so if an applicant qualifies and receive a community letter of endorsement, it should be understood that the endorsement letter is only that, and the WSEDC does not have any authority to approve an applicant. Decisions to invite an applicant to apply and possible nomination are determined completely by the province of Manitoba. So the province of Manitoba will determine who they are going to invite to apply. So basically, to qualify, you must meet certain eligibility criteria, which are listed below, and meet the adaptability and English requirements associated with the job demands in our region. So let's look at it. So for the language proficiency, you must have high LTS, minimum of CLB4 in each category. So if you ask me, this is achievable. Okay, so I'm not telling you that you should not aim high. If you aim high, you can, you'll be able to create the express entry profile if you choose to aim higher. But if what you have at the moment is your CLB4 in each category, that is your listening, your speaking, your reading and writing as a minimum. If you have above that, fine. So you should aim for this CLB4. So if you have CLB4 in listening, in your speaking, in your reading and your writing, you've already met the language proficiency eligibility. And for some certain law code, there are some that require you to have above that 4. So our program is open to those between the ages of 21 and 45. That is, if your age falls within 25 and 45, you are eligible to apply. So applicants over the age of 45 may also be considered, only if minimum NPNP required score of 60 points is met. So that one is another topic for another day. That is the Manitoba Provincial Nomination Pathway score points for you to be able to create your profile. That one is different. So that is, if you are over the age of 45, do not give up. You can still get the chance to apply and be selected for this immigration pathway. So your work experience also, you must have a minimum of 2 years full-time work experience in the past 5 years in declared intended occupation. So for example, if you are applying as a construction worker now, you must have a full-time 2 years work experience in the past 5 years, not that in the last 10 years, in the recent 5 years. So your education, at least 1 year post-secondary education or training program leading to a diploma, degree, or certificate. So if you have a national diploma, you're qualified to apply. If you have a diploma, 1 year postgraduate, that is 1 year after your secondary school, like that is your high school, you are qualified to apply. Then candidates that meet the community selection criterion will be screened, interview based on being labor market ready on a regional labor forecast report and intending to reside in the Winkler-Stanley region. This is what I love. You must be willing and ready to reside in this province, in the province of Winkler. You must be ready, not that you would get the invitation and then you go to Saskatchewan or you go to Quebec. No, you should be ready and willing to live in the province of Winkler. You understand? You must be willing to reside in Winkler-Stanley region. Those selected by the selection committee will receive a Winkler-Stanley community endorsement letter. So you're going to get an endorsement letter, which we add as a supporting document to a candidate Manitoba Provincial Nomination Pathway application. You must meet the MPNP criteria in order to be nominated for permanent residency by the province of Manitoba, not the city of Winkler or the RM of Stanley. So settlement funds, definitely you're going to be needing some proof of funds. Applicants selected are required to meet 50% of the low income cutoff. The amount of funds required can be found by clicking the link below. So you click on this link below, and then you'll be able to see the amount required for either as a single applicant or together with your spouse and your children. Please, if you haven't subscribed, this is the point where I will tell you to subscribe so that you can encourage me to keep uploading videos like this. So these are the important program updates. Effective immediately, all applicants submitted to the WSEDC pilot program will only be valid for 6 months. That is, your application, if you submit your application, say today, you would only be allowed to stay, like your application would only be valid for 6 months. Once your application expires and you've not received any notification that your application has been successful, you should submit another application. And each applicant are only allowed to submit 1 application per year. So this is a good time for you to apply and pray that you are selected. Okay. Applications will not be considered if they do not meet the minimum qualifications per their intended NOCO. That is why I had to go through all of those requirements earlier on so that you should know if you qualify to apply for this application. So let's just go through how the process works. After you've checked if you meet the minimum requirements, including the CLB requirement for the intended NOC, that is your IELTS exam, it is your responsibility to ensure you meet all minimum criteria and have proof of meeting the criteria required to qualify for the MPNP program. Complete the pre-application form found on this website by selecting the Get Started button. Only applications that meet our program eligibility criteria will be reviewed. Eligible applicants will be notified via email that the application is being processed. Your pre-application information is reviewed by our office, and if it is determined that your skills and experiences are needed in our region, your information will be given a second review. So that is, once you've submitted your application, a pre-application information is reviewed by the office, and then if they feel that you meet the criteria, your skills and experience are needed in that region, your information will now be passed over for a second review. This is selection committee. So the application processing time frame takes between 3 to 4 months, which, if you ask me, is like it's short. So 3 to 4 months, you already know your fit. So if you don't hear from them at all, know that your application has not been approved and will not be moving on. So at this point, they encourage you to look for other immigration avenues. Of course, there are a whole lot of other immigration avenues, which I will be uploading in my subsequent videos. So if the community selection committee confirms that there is need for your skills and experience, the office will reach out to you to conduct an online interview. So be ready to participate in an online interview. It could be via Zoom, it could be via Google Meet, it could be via Microsoft Teams. So whichever medium will be used to conduct the interview with you, you will definitely receive such notifications via your email that you use to apply. So if the interview confirms your information and your skill is a fit for their area, a community support letter will be sent to NPMP for their consideration. So NPMP reviews your letter and makes a determination on whether or not to issue an invitation to apply directly to you. So the decision will not be left for them to issue you an ITA, which is invitation to apply. So the endorsement letter will add support to the NPMP application process. Candidates with an ITA can then set up an expression of interest profile. So once you've received your ITA, you can then go ahead and express interest in the province of Manitoba. All the links and details will be provided. And then you'll be sent a copy of your community letter of endorsement, which will be required for full applications with the NPMP. So you are like close to getting yourself into the province of Manitoba in Canada. So your expression of interest profile is entered into the provincial applicant draw. And if your EOI profile is selected, you will receive a letter of advice to apply. This is like, you're at the verge of getting him. So it is important to know that given the number of applicants considered by the province of Manitoba, those who score the most points based on their program requirements are drawn. So it's like you will be in the pool. I'm sure you've heard about this being in the pool, and then the higher your points, the higher your chances of being drawn out from the pool. Because of this, it is important for you to meet the requirements of the program before making the efforts to apply. So NPMP completes your assessment and makes a determination of whether to nominate you to the Federal Government of Canada Office of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada for final approval consideration. So if you think you've met all of this requirement that we've just gone through, if you've not watched the video up to this point, please go back and watch. Just rewind the video to watch that because it is very, very important. It will determine if you are qualified and allowed to proceed. Or even if you're going to, it will also determine if you're going to get a response to your application. So at this point, congratulations. If you feel you already met the program requirement, you are invited to apply. So click on this Get Started, and then it's going to lead you to the points where you will be able to submit your application. So you are going to go through about 9 steps for your application. So you can only apply once per year. So be sure that you already meet the criteria so you don't lose these chances. You can only apply once. It's not like the express entry profile that you can delete and create another one, or like the provincial nomination pathway that you can delete and create another one, or if it expires, you can definitely create another one, even within the same year. No, this one allows you to only apply once per year. And I understand they want to give everybody an equal chance. You understand me? Yeah. So you click on next. You're going to see now these are the official documents needed. So you can see the language proficiency test. You're going to click the checkbox. Your education proficiency documents, check that. Your resume or CV, then your documents are translated into English. So this especially is for those, I believe, who studied in other countries that their language of teaching is different from English. So you need to translate such documents to English language before and notarize them before you can be allowed to apply. So these are the list of jobs in high demand. They are not sales, they are assisting occupations in healthcare, mechanics, production or manufacturing, assembly, machine operators, food and retail services, meat processors, or butchers and welders. So please note, NOX identifies as in demand for a region, have space or eligibility limit. So all these NOX now, you understand, they have an eligibility limit. So your application will not advance for review, even if you meet the minimum requirements based on the limits, you understand? So click on next, and then you'll be able to enter your details. Please ensure you do not make any mistake at this particular point. Ensure that your information tallies with what you have on your international passport, for example. So you're going to fill in your first name, your last name, your address, and then click on next. It will not allow me to proceed because I have not filled in all of this other information. So say, for example, say next. So I'm married. How many adults? 2 for you and your spouse. Then for your number of children, say maybe you're 3 or 2. Then the ages of your children. So let's say they are 10 and 19. 17. So click on next. So you get to select your occupation. Let me say nursing page. Month or year, let's say 09/1988. End date is say 09/10/1993. So the resume. So you're going to attach your resume. So let's say I have that. I'm attaching my resume. So you can see your resume is uploaded. So you can see attach resume /CV with 5-year history. So what is your educational level? Master's or doctorate, 2 post-secondary programs of at least 2 years each. This particular option will be for maybe those who have their HND because they spent at least 2 years in HND and HND. So you pick this. And if yours is just 1 year post-secondary program, remember they said at least 1. So 1 year post-secondary program, or is a trade certificate that is for people in the, for example, some construction workers now only have their trade certificate, so it is allowed. So your education proficiency documents, let me say if you have your WES at this point, you can upload it. Then you click on next. So overall CLB, let's say I have 6. You have a spouse, yes. My spouse did not write the IELTS exam. So if your spouse did, you can be able to select their CLB there. So the language proficiency document. So there's a particular document that IELTS issued to you after successful completion of your IELTS exam. Is like a certificate. So you have to upload this here. Okay, so let's say that's my highest test results. I'm not submitting this application. I just want to show you for the purpose of this tutorial. So what do you know about Winkler? So just write Winkler. Maybe Winkler is a province, is a region in Manitoba, Canada. So you're going to write all of that, and then you can go online and search more about Winkler. You understand? So you can do that. Just go online, search more about Winkler, and then you can also refer to the homepage of Winkler and then see what was written about Winkler and just make some tweaks, remove some words so that it doesn't look as if you are doing a copy and paste. So what is your personal reason for wanting to live in Canada? Say maybe for career development and contribute. My quota to the region of Winkler. Sorry for saying Winkler. So do you have a relative or friend in the Winkler region? No, I do not have. So they said if yes, note they will be reaching out to your contact to confirm your relationship. So at this point, just be honest with yourself. If you have one, yes. but let the person be aware that you are applying for these applications so that they could be able to vouch for you, that they know you and attest to that fact. Do you have a relative outside the Winkler? I do not have. If you have, say yes. Have you applied to any provinces or programs in Canada? If you already have like an express entry profile or something, what have you? Please declare it at this particular point if you have, but if you don't, no. The reason why I'm saying you should be honest is if there is like a lack of, like say, let me say coherence now in your application, you are saying A here, you are saying B in express entry profile, you are saying C in the provincial nomination pathway. These people, they share information, you understand? If they get to find that, you could receive a ban and you wouldn't want that for yourself. So be honest with your application. Your intended occupation is based on your education and work experience. It is the Canadian equivalent of your occupation in your country of residence. All Manitoba provincial nominees are expected to have an employment plan before they arrive in Canada. The information below will describe your plan to find skilled employment in Canada. What is your intended occupation? Remember, I declared nursing aide. They said your spouse intended occupation, if applicable. For in my case, I'm not going to fill in those information now. Is your occupation regulated in Manitoba? That is, for example, I think nurses, they have their professional exams that they write. Some profession have their professional exam that they write for them to be allowed, before they could be allowed to carry out business or work in that particular occupation. So in my case, it's no. Are you planning to upgrade your job skills before you arrive in Canada? Some occupations require higher language proficiency. Do you have the language ability required to start employment in a skilled occupation? Okay, so the thing is, there are some occupations that are not listed there that they are in demand in this Winkler Stanley Economic Development Immigration Pathway. So, and they required higher IELTS scores. Remember, I declared 6 earlier on, which is far beyond what is required for some of the skills here. So for that, I'm going to click on yes. All applicants for nomination for permanent immigration to Canada must demonstrate that they have access to sufficient financial resources in their own name. Remember, in their own name, not in your spouse name or not in your sponsor name. So the principal applicants must submit a financial history, including a bank statement covering a minimum of 6 months, a statement of debit and assets, and proof of ownership of real estate, including current market price of evaluation of those assets. So you must submit your financial documents. So if you have house, ensure it is valued. Now, you want to know the value of those assets that you have. So how much money will you be having when you arrive into Canada? So for example, now, since I'm a family of, I think 4, I declared, so let me say 30 plus. But like I said, you have to refer to the financial required minimum that was stated on that. Just click on that and learn more, and then provide a summary of your asset. Let me say a house in, let me say a 3-bedroom apartment. And all that. So provide debt. You have a debt. If you don't have, say not applicable. But if you do, just state it there. There's no crime in having debt, and then you can just say you've already paid them. So click on next. So let me just say not applicable here. And then I click on this. Remember, like I said, I'm not submitting this particular application. I just want to show you so you know what you are going to do when you get to certain stage. I hereby declare that, so you have to declare that as an applicant to the WSCDC Pilot Manitoba, I am making formal declaration of my intention to live and work in Canada. Remember, in Winkler or Stanley, they want you to live in this region, Winkler or Stanley. So I'm clicking that checkbox. I have the ability to meet my own basic needs and those of my accompanying family member, including but not limited to shelter, food, clothing, and other goods and services necessary for daily living in Manitoba. I click on check. I understand the provision of any false statement on concealment of any material fact may result in, but not limited to, refusal to grant or withdrawal of a community support letter. Yes. The applicant, understand that the endorsement letter is only that, and the WSEDC does not have any authority to approve an applicant. Decisions to invite an applicant to apply and possible nomination are determined completely by the province of Manitoba. Yes. So these are authorization. You give authorization. Yes, I give authorization. I give authorization. I give authorization. So your country now, say I'm applying from Lagos, Nigeria. What is today's date? I click on date, the time. The time is 9:31. You can edit 9:31 a.m. I, the principal applicant, may have read this. I've read and agree to this declaration and authorization. I confirm that I am the individual submitting this application and that I am not an agency or consultant submitting this form on the applicant's behalf. So they want you to do it yourself. So you have to declare that you actually did this application on your own by yourself as the principal applicant. So you write your name here, your last name, and then your signature. So you just have to draw out your signature. Let me see Ola as my signature. So you just use your mouse and draw out your signature. Then you click on submit. But remember, like I said, I am not submitting this particular application. I just want you to see how the entire process works. So wishing you all the best in your application, and I hope very soon I will be receiving a comment or seeing your comments that you've arrived in the province of Manitoba, either in Winkler or Stanley. Bye-bye. Please, if you haven't subscribed, just go back and subscribe to my YouTube channel, okay? Subscribe, like this video, and share with your loved ones.